Hi, I'm Vicki Westling here with City Speaks. City Speaks is a show that's brought to you by Mayor Rosas and his administration. We're here to let you know what's happening in your community, what's going on around you with your schools, your fire halls, your police department, and all the things that are happening for you, our residents, for the city of Dunkirk. And today we are so fortunate we have with us the interim superintendent for the Dunkirk City Schools, Miss Sylvia Root. We have Dan Genovese, our principal for School 3, and we have Theresa Gray, who's our assistant superintendent. So welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
So this is really an exciting time because our kids are just coming back to school. They've been back, what, a week and a half now?
Yes.
So, it's really happening and they're all ready for it, and fall is here. There's a lot going on, and as the interim superintendent, you've got a plate full of issues. Tell me some of the stuff that's happening in your world.
Well, when I first arrived, July 15th, the board had hired me to come in, and one of the main jobs that I took on was we had to hire a lot of teachers, and so we spent the rest of the summer, and we still have a few more to hire for staffing. Okay. So that was very intense for the staff, and I would do the final interview and recommend to the board. So that's.
So now, how many have you hired?
I don't have the exact number, but okay. It's well over 20.
Wow.
Yes.
And now the reason for this hiring is this because of attrition, people retiring?
I think it's a mixture of the retirement incentive and also people were planning on retiring anyway. We have a staff of almost 500. So things happen in people's lives. They get older, they retire, they leave the area for whatever reasons.
Okay, good. So you've been hiring, and you're still hiring more?
Still hiring a couple more, yes.
What disciplines are you basically looking for?
Well, we really have had all of the disciplines over the last month and a half, yes. But special ed, there's English teachers, elementary teachers, special ed teachers, music, art, all of that.
So almost the full gamut,
yeah,
right?
It is.
That's great. So you've got those things happening. You've got the hiring practices going on. You're bringing in new elementary school teachers. How about in your world, Mr. Genovese?
Right. We have 1,000 returning elementary students in 4 elementary buildings, and very excited to be back. We've had really good attendance, and so we're very proud of our kids, and they've done very well these first couple of days.
So now you're saying we have 1,000 in the 4 elementary schools, and just in the paper recently, there was an article that talked about our population decrease. Have we noticed that at all in our schools?
Not really in Dunkirk. We have not seen that. We're enrolling every day, new registrants coming in, and so we really haven't seen that.
No, I've heard that it's pretty stable and even more coming in. So yeah, I think that we're very lucky with the enrollment piece, that people are coming to our schools and trusting us to educate their children.
Well, and I think that's important. So we've got curriculum going on. Now, Theresa, are you involved in the curriculum process?
I am, yes.
So tell me a little bit about what's changing in our curriculum and what we're doing this year.
Sure. Well, with our curriculum, what we're really working on is meeting the needs of all of the students, which includes social emotional learning, which is a big piece coming down from New York State, really trying to make sure our attendance numbers are up, and promoting the positive learning. So hopefully everyone is seeing a more positive presence of the school, seeing more things on social media that are positive, and really trying to emphasize the learning that takes place and not so much the negative parts.
Now, you talk about attendance, making sure that the kids do come to school on a regular basis, and certainly that's one of the things that we see all the time. We talk about our graduation rates. Right. They don't stay through the full year, they don't graduate. Have we seen an increase in our graduation rates?
I would say that it's beginning to continue to improve, right, with all of the stop gaps that we have been doing and monitoring children from the very beginning, that school's important. The parents, we try to make sure that they understand that if their child isn't in school, they're missing valuable lessons in order to achieve the next grade level. So, yeah, I think that one of the things that my school board has put together 4 goals, and one of them is attendance. They really want us, in fact, the next work session in October, the second one of the month, we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about attendance and what we can do to improve it, and what we're doing to encourage parents to make sure their students come to school on a regular basis.
Right, attendance is everything. And how are you seeing that at the elementary level?
We really want to place a strong emphasis on primary grades. That's where they're learning how to read K2, and so we do have a little issue in the kindergarten level, but we're reaching out to parents. We send letters home. We recognize students. There's a number of things that we're doing in-house to trying to increase participation.
Well, of course, and reading is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I mean, I absolutely believe that the sooner we get them reading, the more successful they're going to be.
Right.
So now, what are the curriculum changes are you planning this year?
We haven't made significant changes to the curriculum. What we've done is make our assessment system a little bit more robust. So we've always had a universal screener, which is our STAR assessment, which is something that we've measured all students K through 12 by. But in kindergarten through 2nd grade, we're using a new assessment to pinpoint exactly what pieces of reading our kids need to be able to master to be successful. We have a goal of all students reading at grade level by 3rd grade if they attend Dunkirk City Schools K through 3 consistently. From that, then we're looking at being able to remediate the students with another set of assessments so that the teachers are able to do quick, short, computer-based assessments that the students are very used to with our Chromebooks, and it gives them back some data they need to be able to make adjustments to the instruction.
You know, and Chromebooks, now this is very new, because certainly in my day, and I know all of our days,
Yes.
we didn't have, you know, that computers and Chromebooks and laptops and those things easily available to us. I don't think even they existed in some cases. So but now today, they are so technologically savvy.
Oh, they are.
They are. I mean,
and our students teach us so much more than I think we can teach them. They're not afraid to take the risk. They're not afraid to push the button or see what happens if they experiment with it. And they're loving the fact a lot of our teachers are using something called Flipgrid, which allows the students to video themselves and answer a teacher's question, and then the other students to be able to look at it and respond to it. So it's sort of like live action selfie all day long, and the kids are absolutely loving it.
you know, and now how are your teachers accepting this? What are they saying? Are they?
Well, we've identified some teacher leaders. We received a learning technology grant from New York State. Last year was the first year. This is our second year, and we'll have it for a year after this. And so we've identified some teacher leaders who are willing to take a risk and put themselves out there. Thankfully, a number of them were kindergarten teachers. So so they've been willing to roll their sleeves up, put themselves in the position of the learner, and try some new things.
You know, and that's critical, because in the elementary age, that's their basis. That's where they get started from.
That's right.
So now, how are you bringing this into your school?
Every elementary student has a computer in our district, so they have, every classroom has a cart, and they all have Chromebooks, and they log in, and every day they're accessing technology.
You know, that is just amazing to me. Tell me some of the other things that are going on in the area, certainly in the elementary school. What are you looking forward to?
We have some open house coming up. I just want to mention that September 17th, School 4 is sponsoring their open house from 5 to 6 p.m. School 3 has their scheduled September 18th, School 7 on September 25th, and then School 5 has theirs September 26th. So we have these, we invite all the parents to come meet their teacher. The kids love it, you know, they give their parents a tour of the school, and so it's exciting.
Yeah. So now, the open house, it's really important for parents to be involved. You know, they really need to be involved. You know, I know when I taught school, you know, to get those parents in there, the kids just beam.
Yes.
Even the ones that maybe aren't doing real well, I mean, they just love to show their stuff. Yes. So in addition to the open house, what else is going on?
Well, all our schools, I should say, have a welcome back assembly, and we introduce all our new students to the district and our new teachers. So everyone could lay eyes on new people in our building, and we welcome them. So those are the things we have planned soon.
That's really awesome, and I think the more we bring in the community, the better. What else is going on, Theresa?
Well, we have a new behavior system that we're working on at the elementary schools thanks to a partnership with CASIC, which is now Prevention Works. New York State gave them a grant to come and work in our schools on something called the PACS Good Behavior Game, which teaches the students self-regulation, so it helps the classroom management go a little bit smoother, and the kids are excited by that, and parents may be hearing a lot about harmonicas and things like that. So, but we're really working on being able to help the kids control their emotions, control what they're doing in classrooms, so that when they are there, they can focus on learning.
So now, are there some rewards for their positive participation?
There are, but they're not what you would think. So the rewards are fun things that the kids help identify, and they go into this big bag that are randomly pulled. So it could be, believe it or not, that for 30 seconds they get to lay on the floor and sizzle like bacon. So it's things that the kids generate that would be fun for them to do, and it's short bursts of time, and it's universal. So it's not one person called out. They're really done in groups, and they get some good feedback through it.
And so now this has been very well accepted by our teachers as well as, have you been able to see any results yet?
Not yet. I think we're still a little too early in being able to roll it out and make sure everybody's using the same language and the kids are understanding it, because it's a change, but it's across all 4 elementary schools. So we're really hoping that's a positive then when the students move up to the middle school, where they're working on some safe and civil schools work and getting behaviors set in the hallways and some common expectations there as well.
Okay, so it sounds like something that's really going to evolve into being more productive in the school and in the high schools. There again, it all begins at elementary level.
Right.
We have to get them when they're young. So now tell me, we've got one of the concerns certainly is safety. And I know we don't have Officer Zentz here today, but tell me a little bit, what is the school doing in the way of safety? How are you bringing this out to the community?
Well, we are beginning at each of the buildings, already starting our mandated fire drills, lockdowns, all of those. Officer Zentz has done a great job of having each of the schools have their own safety plan with their own direction of what to do and when something occurs. Over the first day of school, we had the police chief from Fredonia University come in, and he is a former FBI officer, and he turned around and spent about an hour and a half with all of our staff talking about incidents and how to identify if there is some issues and what the incidents and how they do things in the police work. And so we got good reviews that people found it very interesting. People were pretty on task listening to him. He was excellent. So
good.
That was a beginning. And then the second day, Officer Zentz went from each of the buildings and went through their safety plan.
Okay.
The individual one.
So now each building has its own safety plan based on the parameters or the needs of that particular building.
Yes. And then we have a district-wide.
Okay, and so they have to dovetail into the district-wide plan.
Yes.
Okay.
And, so with that going on, that's definitely, I think, I know that it's always been something that each of the buildings have worked on, but we're hoping now to get it all unified. I think that was one of the things that was a goal here, was to make sure that that everybody knew what everybody was doing. And so that Officer Zentz has done a great job putting all that together. He's had committees in each building. Certainly you can't do things like this without committees of people helping you and giving you input. So,
Sure.
So I'm excited about that, and it's one of the board goals also, is safety.
So now when we talk about lockdown, and I know lockdown, when I'm dealing with somebody who's 14 or 15 is a lot different than when I'm dealing with somebody who's 4 or 5.
Right.
How is that working? I mean, how do you bring it to the level of the elementary schools without, absolutely destroying the whole premise? How do you do that?
Well, we really emphasize the importance of these drills and how serious they are. You'd be surprised how the kids respond. They do very well. We don't want to traumatize children, obviously, but they understand that these are drills that are necessary this day and age. and we have procedures and they follow them, and it's worked very well.
So it's kind of like the fire drills, you know, they are accustomed to the fire drill, so a lockdown drill
Correct.
would just be a similar drill. And certainly that's something we have to worry about. You know, I mean, in this day and age, you know, and schools are targets. Schools are targets. So what do you do about the perimeter, the outside perimeter of the building, of the area? If we worry about the inside, what about the outside?
If you're talking about our students being outside the building when something is occurring, our teachers take a walkie-talkie out that the principal and the secretary and all. So if they see something out there, they have a plan. They know what they need to do. Just make sure that they and their children, their students, are safe.
Right. So our schools this year, not that they've never been safe, I believe they have been safe.
They have been safe.
But we're taking extra precautions. We're doing some things differently. And so now we talk about the lockdown procedures. We've talked about the fire drills, these sorts of things. What other kinds of things are going on? What kind of fun things are happening?
Well, we have the after-school program starting soon on September 23rd, and a before-school program. So kids, amazing the participants we have. So there's a number of things they learn, academically, but there's some fun activities they take part into, arts and crafts and things of that nature. And we have partners that work in our schools. So that's something that the kids are looking forward to. Right.
We also have a STEM block in each of our elementary schools, and we have a new curriculum and new resources that go with that so that it's hands-on in science, technology, engineering, and math. So the kids are really enjoying doing those types of things, building things, and really using inquiry and minds-on instead of traditional textbooks.
Now the STEM block, typically, is that in middle school basically?
We have it in each of our grade levels at the elementary for 45 minutes every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that this past year, Mayor Rosas and I attended at middle school one of the STEM classes, and they created videos and did some things with the economic development, and it kind of dovetailed into our comprehensive plan that we were working on. And they were awesome. And these were 7th and 8th graders. I couldn't believe how brilliant they were.
With the Phoenix coming to the region and with some more of the the white manufacturing pieces coming in, we really want to make sure that our students are prepared and can go right into those kind of job opportunities.
And now you speak about that, and then certainly there's BOCES that has the program. How are you working with that, or how are you coordinating or collaborating with our students now who are going to the BOCES for the technical center and at the high school level?
Well, obviously we feed right into P-TECH. It's in our former School 6, so it's a nice site to have there. So we do send the students there. And the first cohort just finished their 4-year, and they're working on their 2-year piece of that. But we've also worked with BOCES. Our 8th grade students all go tour BOCES to see what's available to them in 8th grade, even though they don't start the program until their sophomore year. Our school counselors are great at the high school in helping them do a career assessment and a career plan. And we're really working on pathways at the high school so that students know if the traditional college pathway isn't for them and CT is, they sort of know that early, and we can help make those schedules align and get the courses in place so they can go there.
You know, and you talk about the college pathway. Not everyone has to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Right.
I mean, we really do need. Trust me, I just had somebody come out to check my furnace, and it was a lot of money, and all they did was clean it up.
I know.
You know, so
Oh, we need electricians, plumbers. We need all of those vocations in order to exist and take care of our needs.
Right.
So yes, BOCES does a great service for many of our students, and they come to school because they get to go there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Those things are critical. Now, one of the things with the school system, with all the things that are happening, and we've talked about basically the population is pretty much staying pretty stable.
Fairly.
We're progressing toward continue to improve on our attendance issues. You deal with the board, and certainly you take direction from the board. I mean, they make some of the decisions as to what you're going to have to do, right?
Yeah, I do recommending, and then they decide whether that recommendation is something that they believe that the community and it's best for students is decided. It's always good to have more than one opinion about things.
Absolutely.
Than just one person taking it all. It really is. Yeah. The board and I work well together. they're very supportive and helpful, and their goal is do what's the best thing for children in their district. So,
you know, and I think that's very good. And I know some of the members of the board, and I know they work very hard. And Dunkirk Access will be televising the school board meetings this year, and I know we've had a lot of people ask about that. So those will be televised as well. We also, last year, we had quite an influx because of all the hurricanes and things that were happening. So we had to change a few things. How did that impact the school?
Well, we have a phenomenal E&L program in our buildings. In fact, we just had, I believe it was 52 students exit E&L status. And that's a kudos to not just our English language learner teachers, but our regular teachers as well, in helping those students acquire English language. For the students who came in as part of that emergency, some of them have returned back or they've moved on, but for the ones that are here, we're still very much working on their needs. The state's been very generous, and so what we're working on this year is working on care closets inside each of our buildings, where basic hygiene things, clothing, those types of things would be available to any of the families who need them, and being able to just really work on what does it mean, because that's a trauma that they went through, and so that's going to impact things when they're here. And so making sure that our social workers and our counselors and our nurses and our teachers are ready and able to handle that when it happens.
Right. Go ahead.
We also work with the Food Bank of Western New York, and they've been very gracious in donating food, and many of our students receive that help each week.
Right.
So.
And we are excited that we will have a food bank at the high school for the first time this year. It will be open just to high school students this year as we do it, but it will allow us to have fresh fruit and fresh produce there.
And so how does someone, what does that consist of? How does someone participate in donating food or whatever?
We'll be working with the food bank through that as well, so the donations will come through there. But the students or families just need to reach out to the high school counselors, at the middle school to the counselors, and at the elementary school to the social workers, so that we can get them on the list and give them that support.
So if a resident wants to donate, they should go through the Chautauqua County Food Bank.
For food, yes. If there's other things they want to donate, they should talk to the building principals.
Okay, so that's important. You know, we think about our schools, and so many of us just think, well, it's just education. The kid goes in, they sit at the desk, they learn whatever they're going to learn, and they leave. But what you're telling me is really vastly different from that. I mean, our schools here in Dunkirk, you really support the community in many ways, not only, you know, certainly with the food bank, but with the outreach to the students, with the attendance, with the parental involvement. I mean, it is just more than just, you know, reading, writing, and arithmetic these days. It truly is. And so you've really become community partners. You have some other things that go on, like if there's a weather event, you have a telephone call system. Explain that a little bit to me.
Well, I'm just getting caught up to what messages are already pre-recorded, and I know that the messages are in English and in Spanish, first English, and then if you stay on the line, you'll hear it in Spanish also. The calls go out, not only from the district, but each principal also does their own customized for their building. So they will get on and give a message to all parents. Transportation also has the manifest, and making sure that the students that are on buses, if they're late and things like that, that message goes out. So it's a good communication, and it's quick, so it's fast.
So now it goes out to parents who have through the telephone system.
Yeah.
So if your telephone is not on file,
right,
or if you change your number, or you get a different cell phone with a different number, you need to do what?
Well, the importance is to contact the school and let them know that there's been a change, and then we'll put it in our system and update it. And so that's extremely important. You're right.
Right. So, you know, when numbers change, somebody needs to know about it. Otherwise, you're not going to get the message, right? What other things are going on that you think are important that we need to let the public know?
One of the things that there's 4 goals that the Board of Education is working on, and One of them is hiring a new superintendent, which I know they're planning on getting input from the public at some point, somehow. So they will be working on that as a goal this year. And they also are looking in the future, not immediately, but in the future, of doing another building project. We have a lot of buildings that have issues that you don't always see, but need to be done because of heating and technology and electric and all of that. So every year, every 5 years, you do what they call a building condition report. And and we have one of those, and on that your architect goes through and he points out things that need to be fixed in the next few years, because he can tell that as time goes on they're going to have the wear and tear that needs replacement. And so we are looking at that building conditions report and going to be putting together a building project at some point, and you know, it takes time.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing happens overnight.
No.
And certainly, you know, and with schools, you have to consider the children, you know, the teaching that's going on, you know, all of those activities. So, but certainly it's good to know that our schools, that there is a plan and that they will be brought up to continuously maintained.
Right, because we have a lot of people in all the buildings. And
absolutely.
Just like your home, there's wear and tear.
Absolutely, right. What other kinds of things are going on from the elementary level?
Well, I just want to, you know, Mrs. Root mentioned some of our shout outs for the academic growth we've had this year. And I know that in all elementary buildings, the third grade increase in math proficiency this past year ranged from 10 to 34%.
Wow.
So that's pretty amazing. I know in our building, in school 3, we had 11% proficiency, the increase in math, and 9% of our 5th graders increased the proficiency level. School 4 had their 5th grade, they had 12% increase in ELA. School 5, 3rd grade, they had 34% increase in ELA and math, which is amazing.
34%, that is phenomenal.
That's phenomenal.
And then school 7, 4th grade, we had 13% increase in ELA. So there's been positive academic growth, you know, across the board.
Right. You know, and we talk about that, about the increases. So that really speaks highly of our teachers, who are really working hard. You know, I mean, they really, and I know many of our teachers, and you know, and their heart is in what they do. We talk about the state testing real quick. Tell me a little bit, have we had any kind of resistance or any problems with that? What are we doing differently?
No, actually, I'm very pleased to say that our attendance numbers for the state assessment are up. This past year, we did all of our grades 3 through 8 assessments on those Chromebooks, so the students actually preferred that as the method of testing. And I know the principals did, because it was far less paperwork they have to deal with. So our numbers of participation were very good, and we're hoping to continue that. And I think part of having it just be another day, it's not a giant event, we don't make a big deal about it, it's just another day, another way to learn what you know, and be able to go from there has really helped.
You know, I think that it's absolutely fabulous that you all have done the kind of work that you have done, that you put things together, that you really care not only about the students and their learning, but about the teachers, because, you know, I know that there are always people who say, well, this or that, or it's good or it's bad, but I think overall it's really a great job that you've done. So kudos to all of you, and to all of our principals, and to the entire staff, and to the board. I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful. I really hope that our residents, our parents, get an opportunity to look at it, talk to you, let you know if they've got questions. You know, they can always contact you. The teachers and the principals and the superintendents and assistant superintendents are really here to help the kids, your kids. Your kids. So that's what we really need to remember. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching City Speaks. City Speaks is a program that's brought to you by Mayor Rosas to let you know what's going on in the community. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, let me know. Send an email, vwestling@cityofdunkirk.com. Give me a call, 716-363-6888. Send a snail mail, Vicki Westling, City Hall, 342 Central Avenue, Dunkirk 14048. Watch City Speaks daily at 3 and 10 on Spectrum 1301. Go out to Dunkirk Access. You can catch us on YouTube anytime. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.